Welcome to the Standards of Excellence tutorial on using the submission documents, submission forms, and Word templates from the Fraternity and Sorority Life blog on Standards of Excellence. This video will cover what information is available to chapter leaders and their support teams to ensure their success in the Standards of Excellence process, or SOE. Standards of Excellence is an accreditation process for fraternal organizations at the University of Oregon. This process was created to support chapters in articulating their achievements while also providing a method to determine opportunities for growth. This process aims to support chapters and leadership in continual improvement towards the University of Oregon Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life's goal of being the preeminent Greek community. Recently, the Standards of Excellence process received a few improvements to support chapter leaders in completing the annual submission. In addition to a number of new resources, the submission documents themselves have been updated to fillable PDFs to streamline and simplify the process. Now we will begin to review the materials that will support a chapter's annual submission. As you can see on your screen, the 4 Standards of Excellence submission documents are Section 1, Membership Development, Section 2, Chapter Management, Section 3, External Relations, and Section 4, Policy Compliance. To make the submission documents a more manageable size and to support chapter SOE chairs in delegating portions of the submission to other leaders, we've chosen to break down the standards requirements into 4 fillable PDFs. To fully comply with Standards of Excellence, a chapter will need to complete all 4 PDFs and submit them by the deadline. Each of these 4 PDFs are set up in a similar manner, so let's dive into more about the structure of each submission document. Within each submission document, there will be a table of contents that outlines the standards for that section, including which points are provided by Fraternity and Sorority Life. These PDFs have been set up with a table of contents that link to support your ease of navigation. Next, to support our judges and obtain information necessary for Standards of Excellence, every submission document includes a chapter introduction and information page. This single page will ask for the basics like the chapter or organization name and local chapter designation, the chapter president's name and email, the SOE chair's name and email, the governing council the chapter is hosted by, and the chapter's average membership size during the submission year. Next, you'll find some open-ended questions that will need completed. Those questions are: what 3 areas of your SOE submission, program, goals, etc. are you proudest to share? What 3 areas of your SOE submission, programs, goals, etc. are an opportunity for improvement? And please provide a short introduction paragraph about your chapter and its goals within the submission document that you are working on. And finally, the last question on the chapter introduction and information page is which 2 leaders will serve on the presentation team for your chapter and their contact emails. Following the 2021 submission, chapters will be prompted to provide a short presentation about the Standards of Excellence submission to FSL staff and partners. This presentation will mirror the standards self-evaluation chapters are required to complete and will allow chapter leaders to explain more information about their goals. A few things to keep in mind with the information page. First, this page is really about helping the judges to orient to the submission and understand your chapter's goals. This is not a space to use Greek-specific terminology or acronyms that are not universally understood. Second, chapters should review the questions carefully. The question, please write a short introduction paragraph about your chapter and its goals within the submission document you're working on, should focus on the goals for that specific submission. In this case, the document should reflect on membership development, information, and goals within your chapter. The final tip for completing this page would be to spend some time considering these questions with other leaders and/or advisors of your chapter. The more reflective this information is, the more easily judges will be able to understand how your chapter approached this particular submission document. Now, transitioning back to the submission document, directly following the introduction page will be where Fraternity and Sorority Life will upload the points that they track for Standards of Excellence. In some submissions, this will be a single page, and in others, it may be multiple pages. The points provided in the colored boxes are not points that the chapter will be responsible for providing, and chapters should not complete this section, or they may be asked to resubmit without the scores provided. Completing the FSL provided requirements should still be on the chapter's radar throughout the year. However, at the time of submission, chapters will not need to provide documentation. This information will be added after a chapter has completed their submission. Therefore, at the time that a chapter uploads their PDFs, the provided by FSL section will be blank. The next 1 to 2 pages after the points that are provided by FSL will be the scoring pages for that section. These pages will provide a list of the points in that section. When the submission materials are distributed to chapters after scoring, this will be a great section to review and quickly see the areas that the chapters could focus on the next submission. When chapters upload their submission documents, this page will also be blank. However, all scoring will be completed automatically by preset calculations for the judges. First, let's go over what the remaining pages in the submission documents will look like and be comprised of. At the top of every page will be the standard description, the required documentation for that standard. Directly to the left of the description will be a fillable box where judges will input scores into that page. Again, please do not put anything in these boxes when you turn your submission document in. In the center of each page will be a white image upload area. By clicking on the center of the image upload, you'll select either a JPEG or PDF document to include in that space. A special note on the image upload is that all PDFs uploaded must be a single page, as this platform does not allow for multi-page documents. If you choose to upload a multiple page document, only the first page will be visible, and therefore the only one scored. Finally, the scoring notes area will be utilized by judges to provide feedback on the score they provided or any other information. Please do not upload your submissions with anything in this area. So while that covers what a standard page of this document is comprised of, some special circumstances were created to accommodate specific goals. On some pages, like the one on your screen, you will see that judging score box in the top left corner is not included. This will occur on standards that require multiple pieces of documentation for a single score. For example, the individual member standards that you're seeing on your screen requires both a description and advisor certification form, and the scoring box has been placed on the second page to make review easier for our judges. In membership development, you will find a place to upload specific types of leadership experiences for your chapter. Rather than making a fillable PDF form that requires chapters to type directly into the form, we've created a Word document that will allow for easier use with copy and paste. Chapters can select a different format. However, if not using the templates provided, chapters should ensure that they use a line number system for the pieces they upload. For judges, they will be providing points on the percent of a chapter's membership that is involved in a specific experience, and having to count the number of lines makes it more difficult for our judges. Additionally, on these pages, you'll find a section for the chapter's membership by term. Your chapter's membership total for each term should be included and should include new members. We've provided plenty of space for uploading leadership information for your chapter, and if your chapter does not need to use all of the pages, you should leave any additional pages blank. In external relations, you'll find a few pages like this one that allow chapters to choose from a list of options for achieving points. This will be the page where judges will input scores, and the chapters will put documentation on the pages directly following this one. The last page example can be found in chapter management. This page is set up as the same way as a standard page, however requires that chapters include their chapter bylaws at the end of the PDF. If you are unfamiliar with how to add pages into a PDF, check out the PDF resource guide on the FSL webpage for Standards of Excellence. In adding pages to the chapter management submission document, a chapter may add them directly after page 26 or at the end of the document. The documentation a chapter would need to provide, in lieu of providing their bylaws, would be to provide a letter from their regional advisor if the bylaws cannot be shared. At the end of every Standards of Excellence document will be a resource that prompts you to the FSL website for more information. If you have not had the chance to review the materials and resources on the FSL website for Standards of Excellence, this is a great place to start. The goal of this page is to answer any questions in the Standards of Excellence process and make resources constantly available. Additionally, chapter coaches are a resource to your organization in completing the requirements for Standards of Excellence. Now that concludes our review of the submission documents. However, there's another key resource to your chapter that may help them in completing their submission, which is called the submission forms. This resource can be found on the FSL website and aids to AIM chapters in completing the documentation standards as easily as possible. With that said, let's review these tools to help you complete your submission. First, the table of contents. Like every other document in the SOA resources, this table of contents lists the materials provided and is linked to support you in faster navigation. The first form is the Advisor Certification Form. This form should be used by advisors for the sections that require their certification or information that is to be provided by the chapter advisor. The top of each form will include a checkbox option to indicate how this form is being used and for which standard, followed by a description section and a space for signatures. Electronic signatures are encouraged and can be set up within Adobe Acrobat within less than 5 minutes. The remaining forms are the Campus Activities Form, the Community Service and Philanthropy Worksheet, the Dry Social Form, the Educational Programs Form, the Faculty Staff Advisor Form, the Faculty Staff Programs Form, the Family and/or Alumni Activity Form, the Fire Drills Form, and the Standards of Excellence Self-Evaluation Form. The final form in the submission forms document is the Standards of Excellence Self-Evaluation. This document is an important reflection tool for chapters after they've completed their submission documents and will aid fraternity and sorority life in continually improving the SOE program and the resources available to chapters. The self-evaluation is not provided to judges who review your materials, and the points for the completion of this self-evaluation form will be provided by fraternity and sorority life staff. Finally, the Word templates that were previously addressed can be found on the FSL website. These templates are specifically for areas where typing in a large amount of information to the documents would be tedious. Your chapter is welcome to use the template or find another way to document the information required for submission. However, regardless of the format, please remember to make sure that you have a numerical counter in the first column to support judges in quickly reviewing information. We ask this to ensure that judges are not having to count lines in a spreadsheet and make it easier for them to complete their steps within Standards of Excellence. We hope that this video has provided you with some insight on how to complete your Standards of Excellence submission materials. If there are any questions that are not answered in this video, we hope to create more resources in the next few weeks that make this process easier for all chapters. We also welcome feedback on any other resources that may be helpful to you as a chapter leader or chapter advisor.